Greetings, everybody. Back again, Ravana Nun. Back from a long vacation, a long journey. Uh, Today, I'll be discussing a little bit about myself, Ravana Nun, my background, my timeline. Uh, Certain of the listeners have asked me to share a little more input about myself. So I'll do that, and then we'll be going into Sutekh and how it correlates to my existence and my everyday execution of life. First of all, myself, Ravana, was born in Bronx, New York, way back in 1971. I was raised in the Daly Avenue, Tremont area of the South Bronx. So the Bronx is very rooted in my history, in my upbringing, in my culture, and in my tastes, likes, dislikes, things of that nature. Uh, I lived there for a while, and my family decided to get up out the hood. It was getting very dangerous in the South Bronx at the time, so we bounced up and went to Hartford, Connecticut. Like, that was much better. Hartford is just as bad of a hood as the South Bronx is, and certain areas can be even worse. And it's like an extension of being in Bronx, New York, or the rough parts of Boston, Massachusetts. That's how Hartford, Connecticut was. My ethnic or my ethnic background is what some would term Puerto Rican. My mom was born and raised in Puerto Rico. My grandmother was born and raised in Puerto Rico on my mother's side. On my father's side, my grandmother was born in Puerto Rico, raised in Puerto Rico, but she moved to New York at an early time in the mid to late 30s, before the mass migration of Puerto Ricans occurred during the time of World War II. So she was one of the early pioneers of Puerto Ricans in the South Bronx. My father was born and raised in the South Bronx as well. So for a large part, I'm what you would call Nuyorican. Nuyorican culture was a term coined by the Nuyorican Poets Cafe in the Lower East Side. Nuyorican was an attribute grabbed on and connected with by many Puerto Ricans raised in New York. Nuyorican essentially is a individual who has Puerto Rican descendancy. A large part of their culture is Puerto Rican, meaning it's rice and beans, salsa, the Spanish language or parts of it, the dance, the dress, cultural mores, and cultural attributes that we carry. But a Nuyorican also has a large influence of African American culture, being that when most Puerto Ricans came to New York, we were raised in or around African Americans, either in the same neighborhoods or right next to the same neighborhoods. So we kind of mixed some of the cultural elements that were very similar, and we gravitated towards jazz, R&B, things of that nature. So Nuyorican is basically a mixture of both cultures. Some may agree with this, some may not. Fuck it, I don't give a shit, because this is how I see it. This is my perspective. And as an individual, I ain't trying to follow nobody's shit, trying to be down with nobody's shit, trying to worship nobody's shit. This is how I see it. This is how I call it. I could be wrong, could be right. I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. It's your opinion. Deal with your shit, not mine. So this is how I see it. As a Nuyorican, growing up, hip-hop was the main music and subculture I grew up in. I grew up, ironically, my cousin lived right down the street from Bronx River Projects. He lived on Bronx River Parkway, which is right down the street from Bronx River Projects. Bronx River Projects is one of the homes of hip hop. Africa Bambaataa actually lived in that area, and so me and my cousin would go there for the block parties, and we saw a lot of these original pioneers of hip hop. We heard a lot of the music, and we were around it. So it was there. I remember as early as 77, 78, being a 6, 7, 8-year-old shorty walking down to the projects to play basketball. In the area, they had some basketball courts, and we went to go play basketball, and you could hear the black parties going off. Now, we were a little shorty, so we were kind of afraid to go in there and rock on with the older crowd, but we would, peer in there, step in there, and listen to music and watch, and that was a part of our upbringing. So hip-hop was a very influential part of my life. Now, for people who do not know, who do not understand, hip-hop is a black and Latino cultural phenomenon. It wasn't just exclusively one group over the other. Both groups were there at the same time, starting the same music. Kool Herc, by the way, is of Jamaican descendancy. So he got the idea of the sound system, big speakers and the turntables and things like that, from the DJs or the selectors of reggae music in Jamaica. So he brought that here to America through his family lineage. Bambaataa, also of Jamaican descendancy. You had individuals like Ruby D, Prince Whippoorwhip, who were Puerto Ricans and rappers, and they were part of the Fantastic Five MCs. And you had DJ Charlie Chase, who was a part of the Cold Crush Brothers, some of the early pioneers of MCing and hip-hop groups way back in the 70s and 80s. So they were there from the spark. Latinos have been there since day one, and people do not understand, we do not get enough credit for helping originate hip-hop. The problem is because the media and society wants to label it as strictly one thing, Latino MCs have been slept on for years. If it wasn't for people like Ruby D, like I said earlier, from Fantastic Five MCs, Prince Whippoorwhip, you had Tito from the, I always forget their names. Anyways, you had Tito and all these other individuals in different groups who were there since day one. Okay? And because the media wants to label it specifically one thing, we lose sight that, yes, Puerto Ricans were there, and yes, our cultural background is very African influenced, also very Taino, which is the indigenous, or some will call Native American tribes of Puerto Rico, is very influenced by that culture. Okay, so much of our culture is very similar, but there is differences. The main difference is that there was British, mostly European British here in America, and down there was European Spaniards. The Spaniards tend to be a little different than the British, and the reason why is because the Spaniards were influenced and, yes, grabbed onto cultural traits, DNA mixture, and things of that nature from the Spaniards and the Moors. The Moors were in Spain from 711 to 1492. Much of Spanish has influence by Arabic words coming into the language. For example, when you say in Arabic pants, pantalón, in Spanish it's pantalones. When you say a covering or a top or a shirt, in Spanish it's camisa, in Arabic it's chamis. Okay? When you say blue in Spanish, azul, in Arabic is azul or azat. Okay? It's essentially the words and a lot of the cultural traits passed into the Spaniard culture, especially in southern Spain, which is considered the Andalusia part. Many of the Spaniards that came to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, tended to come from the southern part of Spain, Andalusia, and many of those individuals had already Moorish descendancy in their background through mixing, cultural acceptance, cultural exchanges, and so that was a large part. So you'll see a little slight variation, but there is a lot of similarities in our culture. So anyways, back to hip hop. We were there since day one. And yes, we are the same people, but very at times can be different. Most of the time the same. So keep that in mind. I'm not trying to separate. I'm just trying to say that you have to give credit where credit is due. So we were there. We helped originate much of the sounds, much of the dancing. As you know, the original hip hop dance was breaking, and some of the originators was a group called the Nigga Twins. Then you had the Zulu Kings, who were mostly of African American or African and Caribbean origin, or Afro-Caribbean origin. Then in 1977, the Rocksteady crew came about. JoJo was one of the individuals who passed the baton to Crazy Legs of Rocksteady crew, and from 77 onwards, there was a metamorphosis in breaking. Different steps, different styles came into breaking, and then the transition occurred there. So we've been there since day one. So of course, as a New Rican, that's a large part of my culture. For many Puerto Ricans born in the Northeast, not just New York, but Jersey, you have Connecticut, the tri-state area, hip hop was a part of their culture. There wasn't no separation. It was a large part of their culture. Okay? Because of that, it influenced my life dramatically. Okay? Now, on a sidebar, Puerto Ricans are essentially of African, Taino, and Spaniard origin. Now, mind you, I just said much of the Spaniards also had African origin from the Moors, either from Morocco, from Egypt, all the way down to Senegal, and all the way up that came into Spain. That African origin was there. So the background's a little different when you had the Puerto Ricans came about from those tri-races, Europeans, Asians, through the Native Americans, which are Asian and African mixture, and then you had the African. They came back together in Puerto Rico and created a new phenomenon known as Puerto Ricans, which was originally, the name was Boriquen of the island. So this is why many Puerto Ricans use the word Boricua. Boriquen was the original name of the island, meaning the land of the brave or noble warriors, or the land of the brave people. And these individuals called the island Boriquen, and in time we grafted the word Boricua from that word. So our origin is Taino, African, and Spaniard. But what happened in Puerto Rico and some of the Caribbean islands, especially Spanish-speaking islands, was that many of the Spaniards who came here, because of the Moorish influence in Spain, their idea of beauty was different than the predominant part of Europe. In Spain, the idea of beauty was a brown to dark brown skinned woman with curvy hips, okay, wavy to curly hair. So when they saw Taina women who were bronze skin, dark bronze color with long to wavy to curly hair, they fell in love with them and intermixed. Of course, some of them were atrocious. Spaniards were atrocious, and I never will forgive them for that shit. And they decimated much of the Taino population as well. But some did fall in love and mix in. So then, as that population was decimated, they brought in Africans. And some of these Spaniards, being that they were influenced and had cultural exchanges and mixture with the Moors, naturally gravitated to a lot of these African women who are dark brown skin, okay, curly hair, curvy hips, and they fell in love with them too. So this is why in Puerto Rico and Cuba and the Dominican Republic, you had a large mixture of Spaniards with African people, and you had a lot of mixed individuals because of that. So understand, This is where you get a lot of the variations in skin complexion, skin tones in Puerto Rico because of this mixture. Whereas opposed to here in the United States, the British, the European British, and whether they were from England, Scotland, Ireland, whatever, mostly England and Scotland, they tended to be very racist to promote their dominancy as a superior race. They tended to be very racist, very strict, and very torturous towards African individuals. In Puerto Rico, you had people that were very torturous, very abusive, and very hateful towards that, but you had more who also loved and integrated. So that's the major difference that occurred. When we come here to New York, we see people that remind us of people from our island, which is of African origin. We hear the rhythms and the beats of music, which is similar to what we have in Puerto Rico. And so there you go, the exchanges. And this is why in New York, the Northeast, you have a lot of New Yorkers, Puerto Ricans that have married African American women, or as a female, they married African American men. This is why you have a lot of these individuals who are essentially still African, but they have different ethnicity in their African background. Such, for example, Carmelo Anthony. His dad was Puerto Rican, nor New Yorker, and his mom was African American. That's just one example. Rosario Dawson is another example. There's many more out there who are half Puerto Rican, half African American, but essentially it's still the same shit. It's not interracial. It's not intermixing. You're basically the same fucking background, same shit. Get over it. Stop trying to divide and get over the shit and realize that. Essentially, so now I'm growing up with hip hop. Hip hop is my essence. That shit is my origin. First thing I gravitated to in hip hop was breaking. I was a b-boy, okay? Not break dancer. That's fucking media shit that was labeled. It was originally a b-boy, a break boy. Basically breaking to the break of the record, okay? That's why the term break boy or break girl came from b-boy, b-girl, because it meant we were breaking to the break of the record. Later on in hip-hop, that shit got fucked up, the word b-boy and b-girl. One of the people who fucked it up, although I loved them, but they fucked it up, was Run DMC, using b-boy, b-girls. They didn't even understand what b-boy, b-girl meant. Break boy, break girl was a dancer to dance to the break of the record that the DJ would break or bring or cut up. When they got to the certain part of a song, there was a break beat there, and they would just continuously loop it back and forth through the turntables, okay, from side to side, one turntable to the other, keep that break going, so the b-boys, b-girls could go off. That was my first connection to hip-hop, my first attribute of the 5 major elements. It wasn't 4, it was 5 at the beginning. It was b-boying, it was DJing, it was MCing, it was graffiti, and it was double dutching. Yeah, some of y'all don't realize that because you weren't there back then. But anyways, so that was my first connection, was to break. Second attribute I picked up, or element of hip-hop I picked up, was DJing. So I was a DJ and a b-boy. To be considered a true hip-hopper back then, not just the fucking way it is today where you just take the term I'm a hip-hop or I love hip-hop and that makes you some fucking hip-hopper bullshit. You had to have proven you could do more than one element in hip-hop to be considered a true hip-hopper. So the next element I did was DJing. Tried my hand at graffiti, was not very artistic. Tried my hand at MCing. Sometimes I could get it, sometimes I couldn't. So I just concentrated on those two. That was my shit. So I was there when the Lee jeans were the shit. And you used to crease your Lee jeans. Okay? You used to crease them. And the way we crease them sometimes, what we would do is we would sew them. We would sew the inside to make it look like a crease down. I had every colored Lee jeans you could think of. Sky blue, red, pinstripe, the whole 9. But then Lee jeans started fading out. And there was a time when people would run around up north and they would say, "No Lees, please." And they would rip off your Lee tag. Yeah, just walk up behind you and rip off your Lee tag in the back of your jeans. Alright? I even had the Lee jean jacket that was tagged up. I had all that shit. I used to rock Kangos, the bell top Kangos. And I used to also have the regular Dandara Kangol. I had all that shit. So that is still a large part of me, and I go over that for people to realize that as a shorty, I heard that shit when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, all the way to today. I seen the metamorphosis and transformation of hip hop, and I can tell you right now, much of hip hop is pure garbage. These mumble rappers are pure garbage. But unfortunately, that's the young generation. That's what y'all like. Unintelligible words, mispronunciation or no pronunciation of words, and you get hooked by the beat. But you're really hearing garbage. Hip hop, when it originated, MCing was all about lyricism. As an MC, you had to be lyrical. You had to know how to use those lyrics. You had to know how to use metaphors. You had to know how to flip the script when it came to MCing. Now, pure garbage. Most of the shit is pure garbage. All right? So, that's a large influence on me. And this is why in most videos you'll see me wearing a hat. Because part of hip hop, part of the style of hip hop was always having a hat, whether it was a Kango, whether it was a baseball cap. And I'm from the South Bronx, so most of the hats you will see is a New York Yankee hat. I am a fanatical baseball fan. I don't give a fuck what you conscious coon say. I don't give a fuck what you super spiritual spooky say. I love me some baseball. Baseball is a part of Puerto Rican culture as much as fucking eating avocados is or mangoes is. I will never, ever step away because you want to be super holy roly and think that it's some evil shit. Fuck that. If you have a talent, whether it's baseball, whether it's dancing, whether it's science, whatever the case is, manifest that shit, put effort and time into it, and fuck these weirdos and these spooky ass people who tell you don't fuck with that shit. It's wrong. That's the devil shit. Fuck you. All of y'all fucking devils, okay? Period. Point blank. Get over it. Now, so you will always see me with Yankee hats. This is one of my newest Yankee hats. Pinstripe Yankee hat. This is for the time of 100-year anniversary of the Yankees. All right? So you will always see me rocking Yankee hats. Here are some of my prized possessions of Yankee hats. I have the Fly Butter yellow gold Yankee hat. I have the Fly Color green and gold Yankee hat. I have the blue with a light neon lime color Yankee hat. I have the green and black Yankee hat. I have this fly ass, hot, beautiful ass red and black with stripes or animal print Yankee hat. Can't beat that shit, son. I mean, that shit is hot. It's one of my other newest prized possessions. I have this gray and white and gold Yankee hat. I have this blue, white, and red Yankee hat. I had this old classic a few years ago All-Star Game Yankee hat from 2016. Sorry, last year's All-Star Game Yankee hat. Look at that shit. That's just butter, man. That's crispy shit right there. I have the gray and silver, the blue and grayish silver Yankee hat that reflects. Come on, man. Don't sleep on these hats now. I got the gray with the African print hat. I got the white with the Yankee and Major League Baseball with silver. Look at that, silver. You can't sleep on that shit. Come on now. I got the red and black Yankee hat. This is the occult hat. I rock this shit when I'm in the Setian vibration and frequency. This is my shit right there. I have the orange and gray Yankee hat. I have the purple and black and I guess you would say that's kind of greenish. Or no, that's kind of like turquoise. My bad. That shit's fly, dude. And I have this turquoise and gray. Come on, man. Don't sleep on these shits, man. This is how we do. Although I'm older, I'm youthful at heart. That's what keeps me young. And the hip hop culture will always be a part of me. I will never forego that shit. I just am more mature, more educated, and have traveled a long life path. But this is and will always be a part of me. So when you wonder if you see me, damn, this nigga always rocking hats on fucking videos. Does he ever show his head? Yeah, here's my head. I'm bald headed. Yeah, I'm bald headed. 46-year-old. I still think I look young for my age. 46 years old, but this is how I look. Ravana Nun, the Dark Occultist 99. Now, what's a major another part of hip hop? Was fashion. So I just showed you the hats. But part of fashion was you always had to have sneakers. Sneakerheads stemmed or came out of the hip hop culture. And b-boys and b-girls always had to have the flyest kicks when they were out there breaking. So kicks always became the shit. And MCs, of course, MCs and b-boys and b-girls used to work together a lot of times to rock the crowd with the DJ. So what we did is we always made sure we had the flyest kicks. So it's one of my fly kicks right here. Now, Jordan is the king of all kings of sneakers for sneakerheads. So this is one of my pride and joy, the Jordan 1 Flight 4 Premium. Had the white, gray with the red trim. Look at that. Number 23. Look at that. That shit's hot. That's one of my pride and joys right here. Just giving you a little background and insight into who Ravana Nun, the Dark Occultist 99 is. Here's some of my other pride and joys right here. These green and black Griffies right here. The number 24, Griffey's number back in the day. Griffey was the man. Before he got injured, he was the man in baseball. He was one of the best I've ever seen in baseball. Unfortunately, when he went to the Cincinnati Reds, he was consistently and constantly hurt every year. So he could have broken all kinds of records, but injuries will catch up to you. So this is the green and black Griffies. And check with my pride and joy. Now, Jordans are the king for sneakerheads of sneakers. But the god for sneakerheads is the Nike Air Force Ones. It's the gods. It's the god of hip-hop sneakers for sneakerheads. This the god right here. This the Don. This the shit. You can't beat that. If you don't have Air Force Ones as a sneakerhead, your ass is incomplete. So that's some of my background. Hip hop was everything to me. And hip hop, like I said, it changed. When hip hop was supreme for me was from the late 70s to the late and early 2000s. After that, shit became garbage. Straight commercialized. We sold it over to the media, to the beast, whatever you want to call these fuckers, and they totally destroyed the shit. Look, we used to rock either loose fit pants or baggy pants. You niggas is rocking skinny jeans. That shit is gay as fuck. Cutting off your circulation to your nutsack, making you infertile. And y'all rocking this shit tighter than females rock it. They bringing out the homo shit in some of y'all. Now, trust me, I respect homosexuality or homosexuals. I respect people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual. That's your shit. Enjoy it. That's what you're here for, to enjoy your desires in life. to master them and experience them, to learn the wisdom that you're supposed from them, and you keep riding out. So I respect that. What I'm saying is that not every dude has to look and dress like he's feminine. Not every dude has to wear skin tight ass pants tighter than a female. Because what's happening is that eventually you're going to start finding yourself enjoying wearing clothes that are more female oriented, and you're going to lose the experience of what it's like to be a man, to be masculine. See, everybody who's on this planet right now is here to experience their existence in totality for whatever gender they are, not sexual preference, gender that they are, to its totality, to its max. As a man, you're here to experience what it's like to be a man in its totality, not sexual preference again. That's something different. So you experience that in totality. Wearing women's clothes is not experiencing man's or masculine energy in its totality. That's experiencing feminine energy in its totality. You have masculine and feminine energy, and you bring balance to both, but you will always still be more predominantly masculine energy if you're a man, and you bring the balance to the feminine. Understand this. You ride out with the masculine energy, but you will bring balance to the feminine within you. But you will never totally understand what it's like to be a female unless you are a female. We don't know what it's like to be a female. Female are internal beings. Their vagina is internal. They give birth to children and nourish them and grow them internally. Only a child within the mother's womb knows how the heart or the rhythm of their heart, their mother's heart. A man can only put his ear to a woman's breast or chest area and hear her heart. But at one time we were inside her to really hear that rhythm and feel her heart. Understand this. So they're changing things to bring more of the feminine energy out and throw the equilibrium of the planet off. Okay? Understand. If your sexual preference is what it is, that's different than your energy or frequency or vibration that is within yourself. Everybody has their own sexual preferences. Whether you like a woman and you like a woman with a big fatty, a fat ass, or you like a woman who's skinny and tall, that's your choice. That's your preference. This is what you like. It doesn't, however, make you that what you like. It's just something you like. It doesn't define you. Okay? So, understand this. When we were rocking hip-hop, it was about the baggy jeans, loose-fitting jeans, the Timbos, the sneakers, the hats. You always have to look fly and fresh. I see some of you fucking people out here looking like straight dust buckets. Looking like straight, dusty, raggedy-ass motherfuckers walking down the street. Looking like you ain't showered in days. Stinking like all hell. Nah, son. Get that shit right. Clean up. Look fly. Your shit should always be crispy, man. So anyways, as I grew along in hip-hop was everything to me. And I was dancing. I came out in hip-hop videos. I've done all kinds of things in hip-hop. I was close to Bambaataa, and I learned from the inside out a lot of those accusations brought upon him. I witnessed some of that shit. Yeah, the nigga did some of that shit, okay? So regardless of what y'all think, I was there in the inside out, okay? I was close to this dude. I used to hang with this dude, okay? So I've been in the inside. I met some of these rappers, the Busta Rhymes, the Q-Tips. I met Prodigy and Mobb Deep, rest in peace, brother, rest in power. I met people like that, conversed with them. Grave diggers back in the days, okay? I knew a lot of these people, Porch Americans who were in dancehall, okay? I've lived this shit. So, as a older individual, to tap into my youth, I listen to my music of my generation. There's some music I like from today's generation. Very few, but there's some I like. But if I want to stay young, I go back into the music of my generation. Listening to the music of this generation reminds me how old I am in my fucking existence on this planet. Okay? And it reminds me of how much shit has changed, how fucked up this shit is. But essentially, hip hop has the essence of the Setian energy in it. It is, in hip hop, it was always about the isolated consciousness. It was about you standing out. It was about you being the self-master and being the god over self. This is why it was about flashiness. This is why at one time hip hop was about braggadocious. You had to brag about how hot and fly you were back then. Okay? Hip hop was about stepping out of the norm and being different. Hip hop today is conformity. It is brainwashing and controlling to the masses, and y'all don't see that y'all just one big fucking group sounding like one big mumble ass sound, dressing like one group of controlled individuals. Nah, son. The Setian energy was alive in hip hop. It was about individualism. It was about what MC was better and who could put their lyrics better in such a way that their flow was conceivably unattainable by others. The two rap guys at that time in the 80s, and still I would put them up against anybody today, Rakim and KRS-One. They had lyrics. One really slept on, and we only got to hear bits and pieces of him because unfortunately his life was cut short, was Big Pun. Lyrically, he was next level. Nas, lyrically, is next level. Okay? Jada Kiss, lyrically, next level. Today, most of y'all are not lyricists. You're just fucking mumble rappers. You just throw a bunch of shit together and just mumble along the beat. That was hip-hop. So an MC had to stand out. A B-boy, a B-girl had to stand out. Their moves had to be flawless. Their moves had to be next level. Their top rocking had to be next level shit. Their floor work or floor rock had to be next level shit. Their freezes had to be unimaginable shit. Okay? Their graffiti artists, when they used to do burners, that was the big pieces. Their shit had to be outlandish, like, hello world, look at me. Okay? Their DJs, their cutting abilities had to be profound. Their selection of beats had to be profound. What do you have today? The shit is like just one big hodgepodge of the same sounding shit. So, I understand how the Setian energy has always been a part of hip-hop. Set is the isolated consciousness. Set is the isolated individual. It is that person who seeks to not conform to society, to cultural ways, to tradition, and seeks to forge their own path. The origin of Set comes all the way from the interior of Africa, from the central part of Africa, and some of the zootypes or animal characteristics that were attributed to Set were then looked upon by some of the shamans of Kemet, Nubia, and places like that as attributes that were either beneficial in a human or could be detrimental. So Set at one time was considered the master god of Kemet. He wasn't Satan or Satan or Shaitan. He wasn't all these things you individuals acclaim to Set. Set was the master god of Kemet at one time because Set spoke to the common man, common woman about becoming greater than what most of this fraudulent religious mentality, religious mythology, and religious crap attributed to it. It wasn't till the Asarian myth was elevated to a higher status by the priesthood, who were actually creating the Asarian myth to control the masses of people through faith and belief. And even to this day, when you speak to a Kemetic conscious coon, they still don't get it. They still put Asar up there as this motherfucker and Heru as if they're really fucking Jesus, because in actuality, most individuals are still worshiping. They still worship these mythological or these archetypes as if they were fucking real. And even if they existed at one time, they don't now. And they like to call on everything and anything outside themselves as if they don't have the power to do the very things they're calling outside themselves on to do for themselves. So Set or Sutekh was one of the most powerful, if not considered the most powerful god in Kemet throughout many years, throughout thousands of years before the Asarian sect came and changed it all. Remember, it is Set, Sutekh, is the only one who could calm or destroy or control a pep. Not even Ra could do that shit. Not even fucking any of the other Natir or Netaru could control a pep. A pep was considered utter chaos. Set was a god of chaos, so Set learned how to create chaos and control chaos and bring it under his own order. But always realizing that chaos was necessary for growth, change, and elevation. So, as a young child growing up, I always had an individualistic mentality. I had very few friends. Not because I wasn't friendly and got along with people, was because they felt threatened by my individuality and my non-conformity. I remember I got, back in the days, I don't wear none of that shit nowadays, but back in the days, in the late 80s, I was rocking 2 earrings before niggas started popping off in videos and hip-hop, and these hip-hop MCs started rocking that shit. I had 2 earrings on before them fuckers in the late 80s. I've had this nose ring since 1989. Before you saw Tupac and any of these motherfuckers rocking nose rings in their videos. I was popping off in the late 80s with that shit. I was ahead of the game in only so far as I express my individuality as the Setian energy is. But if you are working or walking the left-hand path, which is a path of making yourself a god, then you as an individual, if you're still worshiping, you might as well still be on the right-hand path if you don't realize that you are Set. That you're not calling on Set because you want to worship Set. Oh, Set, let me lick your balls because you're so great. No, you should be saying, Set, I'm great and my balls are magnificent. That's what you should be saying. Personalize that shit as if you are Set, not as if you're calling on Set. Because every one of us who's on the left-hand path, true left-hand path, not these spooky-ass motherfuckers, because plenty of them on the left-hand path, you should be individualizing and actualizing Set as if you are Set. Not a separation as if Set is still some mythological or mystical being that you should be propagating to every chance you get. Set carries the Sutekh, the sword. You also see Kali with that shit. Right? That shit is used to cut away the illusions that you create about yourself. Create the obstacles that you create in your own life. See, if you are a master, you realize that as a master, as the scientist, that you either can become a part of the experiment or you create and control the experiment. Many of y'all live in the experiment that you created and forgot how to control the shit. So you become easily manipulated. Then you get mad at the world for something you created and then you blame everybody else for your condition. Nah, son. As a Setian, as Sut, Set, Sutekh, you are that master who cuts away the illusions with the Shepkat, cuts away the illusions and the obstacles you created, self-created, and you take control of your life in every step of the way. You do not blame Trump for everything, because Trump is not fucking with you personally. If you think that Trump is fucking with you personally, then you are delusional and have a fucking ego out of this world. If you think that Trump's focus is strictly on you somewhere in New York City because you think you spitting some conscious shit, that these fucking so-called powers that be have had that knowledge way before you was even on the planet. You just got privy to that knowledge now, and you think that you some hot shit, and all of a sudden they're gonna come stop you. Bullshit. Cut the fucking delusions out. You're not that important. To think otherwise is to fucking be delusional and not realize you're more arrogant than you think you are. So, when you work this Setian energy, you work the power of what you really and truly are within yourself. Okay? You are a motherfucking individual who is the originator, the designer, and creator of your life. So, you have to realize how to work the Setian energy. Working the Setian energy is experiencing the Setian energy. What I mean by experiencing it? Simple. You live that individuation. You live as an individual. You don't try to follow the norms, the styles. Listen, yeah, I rock my hats. Yes, I rock my sneakers, but I always try to get something a little fly, something a little different. I put it together a little different than somebody else. Why? Because clothes are clothes. Everybody's going to have the same shit somewhere along the line. That's how you rock that shit to express your individuality, bring it forth. Okay? So when I hear an individual say, it's my style, bullshit. It's everybody's style. You just have an individual emphasis on altering your style to be more unique to your expression of you. But everybody going to have the same shit. Somewhere eventually somebody got this hat. Because I bought this hat at Liz with thousands, hundred thousands, or a million other motherfuckers can buy this hat. How I rock it, how I combine it, is what makes it different. So, understand, your individuation is about expression and experiencing that expression of yourself. Whatever it is you like, that's what you like. Whatever your sexual expression is, that's what your sexual expression is. And in no way, shape, form, or fashion are you trying to convert somebody else to be like you. If anything, you keep them focused on rocking on being themselves. And you continue being yourself and expressing your uniqueness as an individual. So one of the things you do is when you can create a ritual, you can get the black and red candles. Black and red colors are essential to work in the Setian energy. You get your incense that you put on charcoal. Don't get incense sticks. It's more potent when you put it on charcoal and rock the rock incense or powdered incense and put it on the charcoal. You have an image or a statue of Set. And you have, let's say, a chalice or something representing Set. Anything you can have that represents that individual consciousness, those attributes you have. Why is that important? Because every symbol has energy behind it. Every symbol has a consciousness behind it. When you are connecting to the symbol, you are activating that consciousness of that symbol within yourself. So let's say I'm trying to activate the chaotic powers of Set to bring forth a change in my life because there's an obstacle there. So I can, let's say, get a shepkaf or a knife or a sword or dagger that is symbolic of me cutting that away. Not Set cutting away. Me as Set. Me as the consciousness, the power that Set represents, that is within me, that I'm activating, that is already dormant, but I'm activating within me. I activate it, and I use the dagger symbolically to cut away the obstacles that are in my life. I take the representation of Set. In no way, shape, form, or fashion will I say, oh, Set, me. This is just how I work it. No way, shape, form, or fashion will I say, oh, Set, help me do this. Fuck that. I can do it myself. I say, I am Set, and I have the power to wipe away, cut away, or destroy any obstacles that are in my path and execute my goals and plans for success in everyday life. That's how I rock it. I'm not going to say, oh, Set, help me do this and do that, because see, you're still back. Your subconscious mind is still back at subtle worship. You're still externalizing the shit as subtle worship. You can tell me you don't or not, but you are, because you're still saying, oh, Set. That's like a plea, a cry for help. I don't give a fuck who you are. You could be a master Setian. You could be whoever and tell me otherwise. I still ain't listening to you, because I am the master of my life and I control my life. So when I rock the Setian energy, I bring it forth. I'm bringing forth the attributes that are already within me, that is connecting me, or my vibration and frequency are merging with that vibration and frequency of what that symbol of Set represents. I'm not doing anything else but being Set, which I already am Set. So that's how I rock Set. And because hip-hop was a part of my life, I always had the individual consciousness to be above the rest, to be different than the rest, to not follow the crowd. Hip-hop today is about following the crowd and looking like everybody else. It's not about individuation. You niggas is followers, period. You're not different than nobody else. You all look the same, rap the same, dance the same, move the same. There ain't no expression there of real uniqueness. So I shared the journey so you could understand who Ravana Nun is and how Set or Sutekh is my representation, is my essence, is what I am. Along the lines, through my existence, I experienced many things in life. And let me tell you something. Me personally, I have always had an affinity, an attraction, and a love for black women, Nubian women, melanated women. You are the most beautiful woman on the existence of the planet to me. You are the essence of what beauty is. When there's a dictionary picture of beauty, it should be a beautiful, melanated African-American woman. Now, do I subscribe to the black woman as God? Yes, it's true. Y'all the origin of life on this planet. But if you're a god, I'm a goddess. If you're a goddess, I'm a god. Because essentially, the essence and vibration of existence is that when you have one polarity, you must have another. And the polarities are in actuality various vibrational degrees of the same thing in energy and existence. We can't exist without each other. So realize that I respect you and love you, but in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I going to fucking spook you out and make you think that you're just a goddess just by mere existence. Nah, fuck that. You're a goddess because, yes, you are the originator of life, but you also are a goddess by ways and actions. Don't fucking call yourself a goddess and you live in trife life. Don't call yourself a goddess and you got no control of your life and your shit is straight fucked up. A goddess is a fucking master over their life and they take control of their life. Realize that truth. Realize that shit. You are very beautiful, and the essence of all beauty comes from you. But sisters, some of y'all got to get this shit together. Y'all gotta stop fucking being trife. You gotta stop fucking just wilding out as if there is no consequence for your existence and then blame the man for everything. When you self-created a lot of the shit you're in. How do I say that? The nigga you chose him. You mean to tell me when you chose this nigga, you didn't sense your inner senses as a woman, your inner intuition, and say something's fishy about this nigga? Yes, it did go off, but the problem is you got captivated and infatuated by the looks. Oh, he's sexy. Oh, he's packing. Oh, he's whatever. You got captivated, and that's the shit that fucked you up. Even though the alarm was going off from day one, like, yo, watch this nigga. This nigga trifling. Watch this dude. He's sneaky. Yo, you heard that shit. You created that existence. You created that situation. Now, I'm not saying that whatever came out of the situation you deserved as far as abuse or anything. No. No man or woman should put their hands on each other. That's all fucking bullshit. What I'm saying is that you did create the situation for it to even occur, and you could have stopped it because your intuition went off, but you were fucking so brainwashed and so fucking infatuated that you didn't allow yourself to hear your inner voice. Satian will hear their inner voice, and loud and clear we will execute what is being heard. We're not going to fucking sit there and say, oh, fuck that, I love this person, even though you knew they was cheating on your ass, or they could cheat on your ass immediately. But you just had to taste the goods. The goods fucking warped your senses even worse. You got fucked up. Now, as a Satian, we fucking take responsibility for everything in our life. Everything that occurred in our life, we take responsibility. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. We don't blame nobody or nothing for our existence. We take responsibility and we live our life accordingly, and we execute our plans accordingly, and we take responsibility for whatever comes out. Whatever the consequences are, whether it's agreeable or disagreeable to us, we rock on. That's how we do. Okay? So when you have your ritual and you have these candles, the statue set up, put yourself in the place of set as if you're set, and you start to activate that consciousness within you, that energy within you to be set, not to worship or to ask, but to be, to command yourself to do the very things, to reprogram your subconscious mind through command to be the very thing you want or need to be. That's how you rock this shit. You don't fucking worship. Cut the worshiping shit out. Okay? And understand, me as a, and I'm going to just sidebar this, me as an individual, loving African American or African Caribbean woman or African Latina woman is no different than loving myself. What do you mean by that? That's interracial. That's mixing. No, it's not. My background, my heritage as a Puerto Rican individual, I have a large percentage of African in me and a large percentage of Native American in me. I'm predominantly more African and Taino or Native American, African Native American than I am Caucasian. But I do not deny that I have Caucasian in my blood. I do not look at it as wrong or evil because I had no choice in that shit. I came through this family lineage. This was the mixture. This is what actually is here. So I work with it. You understand? I don't demonize myself, look down upon myself because I'm there. I rock on as an individual and live my shit to the next level that I can get to. And let nothing hamper me or look down upon anything. It's all of me, and I embrace all that shit. But as that individual, it is not interracial. It is not mixing because I have a large African DNA. I'm just mixing back in to the original lineage. That's it. Back home to increase and strengthen my DNA. That's it. It's not a fucking difference. You can rock on. You can fucking make excuses. You can be brainwashed as a Puerto Rican and think that it's different or we're different. No, you're not. Cut the shit out. Okay? Because what would Puerto Ricans be without salsa music? What would you be without reggaeton? Now you can tell me what reggaetons are. It's bullshit. Reggaeton came from dembow rhythm of Jamaica. Okay? That dembow rhythm was done in dancehall. And people like Shabba Ranks, okay, utilized and made that rhythm famous. People like Buju Banton made that shit famous. And then when Panama or Panamanians got it, because a lot of Panamanians are of Jamaican origin, and they grew up and raised in Panama, and they grew up speaking Spanish, they just started using lyrics in Spanish. When Puerto Ricans got it, we took it and took the dembow beat and slowed it down and started using lyrics in Spanish and became reggaeton and went back out to the world. So what would you be without reggaeton, which is African origin? What would you be without salsa, which is African origin? What would you be without rice and beans and chicken, like chicken fricassee and different styles of chicken that was created by African people? Okay, the style, the way, the food, the seasoning was by African people. What would you be without that? What would you be without the salsa dancing, the reggaeton dancing, which was in origin an African dance? Where would you be with some certain words that are utilized in Puerto Rico and other countries that are of African origin that have such significance and meaning to us? Huh? What would you be without Roberto Clemente, who was of African origin and one of the best baseball players ever? What would you be without any of these things, Puerto Rican? So for you to deny your African heritage is the most stupidest things I've ever heard of in my life. You are of African origin. It will always be of African origin, even if you predominantly have Spaniard origin. If you really go into the history and really get the DNA breakdown, you'll find out that you're still have a lot of African origin, because a lot of Spaniards have between 4 and 24% African DNA. The higher number is more prevalent in the southern part of Spain, where a lot of our Spaniard origin came from. 24% or more can be found in Andalusia to this day. So you still have a strong African existence. Don't deny that shit. At the same time, you have a strong Taino existence. Don't deny that shit. Okay? At the same time, you have a strong Spaniard origin existence. Don't deny that shit. It is what it is. It makes you who you are. But when you date an African-American woman, a Jamaican woman, Trinidadian, or any other black woman, Puerto Ricans, you are no fucking different than that person. You may have a little different mixture, but in essence, you both have African origin. Some have Taino origin as well. You, in essence, have similar food. The food is prepared similarly. The music is similar. What's the fucking difference? Because some are lighter, some are darker. So fucking what? Sean Paul, who's Jamaican, looked like a Puerto Rican to many people when he first came out. Many people fucking mistook him for being Puerto Rican. So there's some Jamaicans who are looking just like light-skinned Puerto Ricans. And then there's a lot of Puerto Ricans who are African in origin who look like any African American in America or any other person in the Caribbean who's of African origin. Cut the bullshit out. It's all fucking confusion at the end of the day if you allow it to be. Sit back and enjoy your life and just experience it. Stop the fucking who's this and that's that and I'm great this and you're not this and we fuck that shit. Enjoy your life and experience your life as an individual and do you how you want to do. Fuck what everybody else says. Fuck what these conscious coons and anybody else says. Oh, we're this, we're that, we're great. Bullshit. Today, what are you doing today is what is important. Not what you did then. Not how great we were back then. That's all good history and it's good to know and it's good for you to get some self-knowledge and self-growth. But what are you doing with it today and how is it utilized to make your life better today? That's what's important. So understand, this is a little information about myself and set and how I tie into set, and hip hop is a part of my life, okay? But the last note I'm gonna leave you with, in the late 80s when a lot of hip hop clubs were closing in New York, I fell in love with another style of music. Some of y'all like it, some of you don't. I really don't give a fuck. House music. Not just house music, deep house music. I went to the Red Zone. I used to go to the Shelter. I used to go to the Circle. I used to go to Sound Factory Bar. I used to go to Studio 54, Roseland, Heartthrobs. I was there. That was what second style of music I fell in love with, and right now both of them are tied with each other, hip hop and house. You cannot get me away from either one. It is who I am and will always be who I am. So I'm sharing parts of myself so you understand who Ravana Nun is a little more. I can't really do it on a radio show, and I'm not going to post this and type it out somewhere. This is who Ravana Nun is, and this is some of my background, so you understand who you're listening to, who you contact and communicating with. This is the existence of my life, and this is my individual consciousness expressing itself. So once again, this is Ravana Nun, the Dark Occultist. You can catch me on this YouTube channel, Dark Occultist 99. You could also catch us every other Thursday now, the first and third Thursday of the month, of every month, on talkshoe.com, the Awakening Universal Mind Show, from 9 p.m. onward. That's the first Thursday and the third Thursday of every month. We'll be doing that show now. And tomorrow's topic is, are you worshiping or working the left-hand path? So I'm signing off. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, reach me at Ravana Nun at Outlook.com. That's RAVANANUN at Outlook.com. Or you can connect with me through Dark Occultist 99 YouTube page or Google+. Peace.